There is a lot of optimism in the market. Where do we go from here? Tony Sycamore from IG joining me now. Tony, let's start with what we're seeing in the ASX. I just mentioned we are retreating, but wow, a record high yesterday again.
A record high yesterday, and then CBA's earnings report this morning was in line, but when you're trading on valuations that CBA and the other banks are, an inline report just doesn't cut it. And you're seeing some heavy selling, down about 3.8%. And the banks are such a heavy component of our index. There is a retreat coming from that record high we saw yesterday. But look, by and large, the backdrop for the ASX 200 is still supportive. We're still seeing gains on Wall Street. RBA delivered a rate cut yesterday. There's more rate cuts to come. That would suggest that the ASX 200, once it gets through this short-term pullback, can continue on higher. So I really like the ASX 200 to continue its move higher, providing it holds above that level we've spoken about for quite a few weeks now. 86.30-ish is the line in the sand, if you like.
Yeah, and today it really does just seem that it's being dragged down by CBA, right? You said it really had to beat out of the market to impress. If we take that out, we'd probably be having another record.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with earnings season. You've got to expect the unexpected sometimes. And CBA's had a decent pullback from that 192 high we saw there at the end of June, now trading around that $170 level it hit in late July. And if it breaks below there, that can start to weigh on the index again as well. So we need to be very, very mindful. CBA is such an important part of the index, 14%. If it has a bad day or a bad week, and there isn't the offsetting flows into the big miners, which have been compensating over the past 2 months, then it can drag the index lower.
All right, we touched on the RBA decision yesterday. What does all this mean for the Aussie now?
Well, it was business as usual for the Aussie. It had a brief dip down to 64.81, but the bottom line was the market was pretty much all pricing in the rate cut, and they were pricing in the expectation of more rate cuts. But I think the real fillip there was that the US inflation numbers were in line to a touch softer in some of, well, the headline was softer, and the core goods inflation was also lower than expected. So that's really increased the likelihood of a rate cut in September, which is viewed as an insurance rate cut. That, of course, weighs on the US dollar and gives that Aussie that bounce back up towards 65.20 where we are currently.
And that inflation print, the Fed expectation, sending US stocks to records once again. What are we seeing with our Elliott wave?
Well, our Elliott wave's been suggesting we're in a wave 3, which is the impulsive move higher. And look, when you look at the chart there from those April lows, it's hard to dispute that wave 3 is not continuing. The one thing we will say, and we've said this before, the NASDAQ is pushing up against some very important weekly trend channel resistance. Now, with a weekly trend line or trend line resistance, whichever it may be, you have to give it a little bit of leeway because it really depends on where we close at the end of the week, which is still 2 sessions away. And also the fact that the actual width of the line which you're using on your charting system can give you 100 or 200 points discrepancy. So a little bit of flexibility required here. But at this point of time, it's pushing up against that trend channel resistance on the weekly chart. Hasn't broken above it yet. We need to see that either confirmed or rejected at the end of this week.
Okay, let's look at what we're seeing in terms of commodities. Oil finishing lower overnight. That was despite the CPI.
Yeah, look, the big thing with the crude oil market at the moment is just these talks between President Trump and President Putin on Friday. And that, if it is successful, will do 2 things. Potentially, it will lead to those secondary tariff threats, which we've spoken about being eliminated. And of course, it will probably see or could see the resumption of Russian oil supply, the unembargoed or the unsanctioned part of that, if you like. So that's what's weighing on the crude oil price at the moment. But as you mentioned, a rate cut in theory is a good thing for the crude oil price, but technically it's fallen below that big $64 level, which means it's back into the range, which it was before the situation in Israel and Iran back in July. And here we are. With that in mind, we can trade back down towards the middle of the range around $60.
Okay, what about gold, particularly with the Fed likelihood cut?
I still like gold. I think it's coiling. I think it's consolidating, just working up the opportunity or working up that energy to have another go at the $3,500 record high. The first indication we'd have that the uptrend has resumed would be a break above the multiple highs we've seen around 34.50 over the past 2 or 3 months. If it gets above there, then you've probably got 3,500 as your next target. And above 3,500, well, it's blue sky with $3,700 looking achievable.
Bitcoin, what's achievable for it at the moment?
Well, Bitcoin, anything's achievable for Bitcoin and Ethereum in the moods they're in currently. Bitcoin currently stalled ahead of the record high around 123,000. And there's big monthly trend line resistance coming in around 125,000. So there is some resistance up here. So you need to see that 123 to 125K level break to signal that the uptrend has resumed. In the meantime, Ethereum is really stealing the limelights, and that's moving towards the November 2021 high of 48.68. So there's still a bit of room for Ethereum to move higher while Bitcoin just consolidates.